Chris Minns hopes his fresh start message will cut through with voters as he makes his final pitch in Liberal-held seats. The Labor leader received some star power in an ultra-marginal Western Sydney seat with the help of the Prime Minister. Danica DiGiorgio has the details.
He's really been campaigning in Western Sydney today, Simon. In particular, Penrith. He was there a short time ago at the local Westfield shopping centre, trying to get votes for Labor's candidate there, Karen McEwen. It's an ultra-marginal seat. It's held by the Liberal Stuart Ayres on a margin of 0.6%. This is one of a number of seats around Western and southwestern Sydney that will sway this election. I managed to catch up with the Prime Minister and I asked him why he chose Penrith to campaign.
Well, Penrith, because I've known Karen for such a long period of time, and I think that Dominic Perrottet and Chris Minns are both very good people. I like both of them, and I've worked constructively with both of them. But the truth is that Dominic Perrottet leads a government that's a shambles.
Labor leader Chris Minns was on the front foot early. At 5:30 a.m. this morning, he visited Sydney markets where he spent some time chatting to business owners. He was shaking everybody's hand, trying to get those last-minute votes. It was then over to Auburn where he was inspecting some local trains, but then to Parramatta and Ryde. These are currently Liberal-held seats that the Labor Party believes it can switch. But there's no doubt Chris Minns knows he's under a lot of pressure. Tomorrow he will find out if he gets the 10 seats he needs to form a majority government, or if he falls short, he will then have to negotiate. It's something, though, he's not taking for granted.
I do believe it's going to be tight. This election will come down to the wire. Most New South Wales elections, except for a few here and there, are tight contests, and I think that we've always known that.
We know in the final days of any campaign, both leaders look to avoid any controversy. But Chris Minns faced questions today about his Labor candidate for the South Coast, Liza Butler. Video has emerged of her speaking at a local forum saying that gambling addiction is only a problem for migrant communities in Western Sydney, not something that Labor wants, particularly it's trying to shore up votes. This is what she said.
So let's strengthen clubs to self-regulate and trial a cashless card in Sydney, where the problem really is in Western Sydney with lots of cultural groups, and see if it actually works so we don't push people into secret gambling.
I've spoken to Liza. She regrets those comments. She did misspeak. And I think that in the context of an argument that she was having in the final days of an election campaign, many voters would understand that.
So, Simon, Chris Minns is really hoping that his message of it's time for a fresh start in New South Wales will cut through to voters. He's also said that should he be successful tomorrow, the first piece of legislation under a Labor government in this state will be to protect Sydney Water from privatisation.